uh, so, I think I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to start speaking from the podium from now on. Oh, this is gonna be too good. Oh man. All right, hold on a second. I do want to change this a little bit though. Let's do. Oh no, not that. Wrong subject. Oh. Oh. Uh-oh. Hold on. Wait. Wait. Oh. I like this one better. We'll go with the official one. So. You're part of a corporation. Right? Life seems great inside that corporation, doesn't it? Seems fruitful, beneficial for everybody. Like everything just seems to be nice and smooth, right? Like everything's just coming together, right? What's up? I'm just gonna wait for it to actually fill up in here a little bit, and then we'll get started, right? I know a lot of you hear about all these different laws and all these different things and all this different stuff that's being passed around, and people aren't putting the pieces together. Hey, I got a conspiracy for you. While we're sitting here waiting for people to get in here, I got something for you to ponder. Right? I want you to take this into account. Women didn't wear makeup. Women were not the first ones to wear makeup. Men were. And those same weird men that wouldn't allow women to act in plays that wore makeup so that they could be women in plays are the ones that have everybody wearing makeup. And the funny thing about that is, what did that turn into over time? Well, now it turned on to they can fully just be women now. You see how that progressed over time? One spectrum to the other, right? It's all the same shit. It's all the same thing, and it's all the same people, and it's all the same family, it's all the same bloodline, it's all the same corporation, it's all the same everything. Right? So, a lot of you have been hearing things about this thing called the straw man. Right? Hear all kinds of things about this thing called the straw man. Now listen, let me explain something to you. There's ways to use the straw man inside of the system, right? There's ways to use the straw man outside of the system. This is estate equity. Okay? This is estates. That's all you're dealing with is estates, and that's equity. Okay? That's what's fair and just. You know, estates are whatever you say they are to be. Right? It's a trust that gets built, right, between you and a corporation. Oh, nice. Congratulations on the just one wreck. I guess that's better than the usual. That's a good thing, I guess. It's quite an accomplishment. So, I don't know if that's how that works, but all right. I gotta get away from this podium. It's fucking with me too much. Hold on a second. We gotta switch this up. Oh, look at my crown. Look, I have a crown now. I'm Captain Liberty. So, I don't even... Do they do this so that you can look at yourself? Because I don't... I don't really... I don't always like being in the spotlight like that. Oh, what the fuck was that? Duh, how do I even have a bad signal? How's that possible? What's the point of having Wi-Fi if you can have a shitty signal? That shouldn't be happening, right? All right, so everybody's got these questions about all this national stuff. Yeah. Now look, it's not for everybody, right? You don't have to do it. Right? It all depends on how you look at things, you know? There's, I appreciate you. There's people that disagree with it and that know how to utilize it without having to do the status change stuff, right? And, you know, I understand that, you know, it's not always, it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea, you know, but I'll leave it up to you to decide whether it is or not, you know. It's not my place to tell you whether you should or not. I know that even though I'm told probably not the best idea, I really don't like the system enough to want to be a part of it because it hasn't been in my favor, right? It truly hasn't been, you know, like there's been too much things that I've seen and that I've experienced throughout my life to know that I don't like that system. You understand? And I guess the only real reason that I don't like the system is because it's not in our control like it's supposed to be. Right? If it was truly in our control and it was truly built in our favor and actually worked in our favor, it would be a different story. You get what I'm saying? But it's the fact that it's being utilized in a way that hinders progress that bothers me. Look at how much technology is being snuffed out. Just because out of their fear, right? Out of the system, out of the fear of the people that are running the system for their own safety, for the way that they're running the system, they don't want you to have technology because they're worried that you would use it against them. That in itself alone should tell you that there's something wrong. Right? Think about that for a minute. That in itself. You don't fear things happening to you when you're not doing things that are worth action being taken over. Right? If everything was going smooth in the way that it was supposed to be, there wouldn't be need for the restrictions. No, Sis, not at all. I don't see any benefit of any type of monetary system, of any type of money system. I don't see the benefit of it at all. It's unnecessary. That requires enslavement, no matter what level you look at it at. If everybody just did cool shit and made cool shit and just shared cool shit when they made wouldn't things be a lot easier? If everybody around the world just decided, you know what, we don't want anybody in charge of us anymore, we're going to handle ourselves. Right? It would be a little bit of chaos. I'm not going to lie to you. There would be a little bit of chaos at first. Right? Probably. Because, you know, people having the first taste of true freedom, some of them would lose their shit. You know? But that would be rectified pretty immediately once people started realizing that they had the power to do it and that they weren't going to get in trouble for cleaning up the situation. You get what I'm saying? There would definitely be a little bit of nuttiness at first, right? Just a little bit, right? Because there's a lot of people, you gotta account for the people that are going to freak out with relief and anger, right? Some of them are going to want to smash some stuff. You get what I'm saying? There's going to be people like that everywhere, right? It's going to be hard to make it to make it so that people can adjust to not running off of the money system. You get me? It's going to take a slight adjustment. But in all reality, there will be a little bit of much needed mess, right? Because there's going to be people that are going to get out of hand, and those people are going to get out of hand, and then they're going to get dealt with on the spot, and then people are going to realize that they can deal with shit on the spot because it'll be being done around them and then things will quiet down again real quick because everybody will realize that there's consequences for your actions again, right? That'll bring about a little bit more respect for each other, right? Because right now, everybody feels like they can be disrespectful because there's no real consequences. You can sit there and talk shit to somebody in their face, make them feel like they're as small as a fucking ant and step on them at the same time. And that's only because there's no consequences. That's why the first one is the freedom of speech and the second one is the right to bear arms, because you got to back that shit up sometimes, right? And if we return things to this manner, crime would all but dwindle to a minimum. Why? Because everywhere that you went would be the threat or the taste of death. You would think twice about every action in that type of scenario. Everybody always freezes up and chills and relaxes when the po-po show up. Why? Because they have fucking guns. That's why. There is no other reason. That's the only thing that gives them their authority. You understand? That's the thing that makes everybody calm down. So if that's the real thing that makes people calm down, is when people call the boys, because the boys show up with pistols and they will fucking drop your ass if they feel the strangest fart in the wind, right? And if that's what's making people stay in line that get out of line, then why the fuck doesn't everybody have one? Wouldn't that make more sense than telling everybody they have to go through this, and this to get one? No, everybody should have one. Because even those people that you think would act crazy still would not act crazy because of the fact that there would be an actual consequence now for their action at any point in time of the day. Think about that for a second. There would be no, oh, I'm going to talk you damn near into suicide over the internet or send you into a rage or a fit and set you off because you can't come and do nothing about it because it's all called a po-po if you show up. No, there wouldn't be that security of arrogance that's allowed anymore. No, it would go back to straight up, you watch what you say because there's consequences. It would go back to you being able to discipline your child without having to worry about your child calling the fucking police on you. Because you raised your voice at them, because we live in a society where the system has taken control of your children away from you completely. Like completely, like utterly, completely. Think about that. I can't do this button-up t-shirt shit. I thought I was going to because I have fun wearing them every once in a while, but I'm good. It'd be normal, regular. Although I do like dressing like that from time to time. Yeah, y'all. Everybody be so worried. Everybody's so worried about what would America be like if we didn't have them. Well, it'd be a drastic decrease in crime all across the board. Like from one side of the country to the next, right? It would be a drastic decrease in crime. Why? Because as soon as the system was gone, it would be mandatory for each household to have at least one pistol, one rifle, one shotgun, and everybody would have a stock full of ammo in all of the houses. Because the very thing that keeps this country safe in the first place is the fact that we do have the right to bear arms. If we actually had that right, it would actually be safe here, and nobody would even think to come in this direction. That's the thing that makes us the powerhouse that we are. Is that unlike everywhere else, we can unite and have guns all across this motherfucker. You understand? This is not like every other country has strict control over that shit, and we're allowing them to do that here too. Right? Think about that for a minute. That's the very foundation of what made this place so strong in the first place, was the fact that everybody was armed to the teeth. Everybody should be armed to the teeth. There should be a minimum requirement per household of firearms so that this country remains free. That's the only thing that's making it so that it's not. That's the only thing that actually gives them power over the people right now, is the fact that everybody's not fucking just chilling outside with their shit, letting them know that we'll stop them if they fuck with us. like that's all it really is. Motherfuckers don't want to have to try to figure out how to go into an entire neighborhood full of people that are just like, yeah, you're not coming in here. They already don't do it. See, that's the thing, is everybody thinks that it's impossible to keep them out. There's places in every state, in every hood, where they won't go down the street. They won't go down the street. They won't go in the neighborhood. They won't go anywhere near it. So if that can be done in the hood, where they monitor the most, because it's nothing but a trap for people to go to fucking, to get locked up. So that's their money pit. So if there's places in the hood that they won't even cross because it's so heavily armed in there that they're worried that it'll be an outright fucking war zone, what does that tell you? That means that it's possible everywhere. All people have to do is actually start fucking. Hey, you can't do that. What did they show you the Black Panthers did? Every time the boys showed up somewhere with a whole bunch of guns, they showed up somewhere with a whole bunch of guns. Anytime the boys popped out on somebody, they popped out on the boys at the same time. Until what? They started backing off. And it worked. They backed off. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah, we'll just vote for you. Yeah. You came out of nowhere. Like, think about that for a minute. Everybody's worried about this shit, but Things are. I want you to think about this. Like, really take a moment to think about this. Right now, you're paying for gasoline or electricity to run an automobile. Just 2 to 3 years ago, we had a gentleman that had came out with a brand new engine for people to have to run around on water. And they unalived him, and nobody did anything. I'm pretty sure that might even have been a psyop, just a test to see how people would react if they off somebody that was bringing in something significant, right? Because that's how it's done. They run tests first, right? So the funny thing about that is, you didn't see anybody taking to the streets. Why? Because the TV didn't tell them to. Right? Funny how when they wanted they had everybody march for what they deemed to be, who was also a psyop, the Martin guy. I fell for that shit too. I knew it was a psyop, but I still went into my city just to lead the shit to make sure that motherfucking it didn't turn into a war zone. I did a pretty good job of it for them. Like, we survived the whole entire day, all the way into the evening, and then after we were leaving, a whole bunch of other people started showing up, and that's when things got difficult, right? Because they had already put out pallets full of bricks all over the place for no reason, fucking abandoning cars everywhere all over the place. Weren't none of them cars in downtown like that when, no. It was all fucking played out. I was about to be on the newspaper for stopping the riots for like most of the day. But anyway, I digress. You think that things would be bad if we didn't have that government. You think the whole system would collapse, but you forget that we're the ones that are running it. They're not doing shit, but sitting there filling out paperwork and making phone calls while everything runs off of us. Let me explain something to you, right? These people, the people that are working in the electric plants, the people that are working in the water plants, the people that are working in the hospitals, these are people that wanted to do that. They're not people that didn't want to. They're in these jobs because they're fascinated by them. It's not like they wouldn't keep doing it. You understand? The only real shift that there would be in the general public is that we would be able to return the schools back into trade schools the way they were before the public school system was created. See, what you don't know about the country is when it was under Moroccan rule and there were schools and there were pyramids and buildings and everything everywhere, schools were trade schools. Like, if your kid told you they wanted to be a fireman, there was a school for that, and they went to that. They didn't go to public school, they went to that school. And there's no money involved in this, so they just went to school. So there would be one school that would be for doctors, there would be one school that would be for nurses, there would be one school for mechanics, there would be one school for physicists, there would be one school for scientists, and they would be able to focus on that and become whatever they really wanted to become. That's how why do you think technology was so amazing? Because everybody was getting to have their dream jobs. They weren't working because they had to. They were getting to work at things that they wanted to do because there weren't bills to be paid. So understand that it's the curiosity of the mind that is being smothered by the public school. That is why the genius has been removed from this country. That's what it's about, is smothering out the intellect. And so instead of fueling and growing at a rapid rate by the ideas of children, because that's what really brings things into reality, is the ideas of the children and the new ideas that they come up with of things that we don't see and we don't think about. They're the ones that come up with that solve the new things. You get what I'm saying? So imagine putting a kid that loved numbers into a school that was strictly about numbers, and they learned about numerology, astrology, science, fucking like they like, do you understand the implications of how far that would blast a child's intelligence? Just being able to go into something that keeps their interest because they really want to know about it, and that be the thing that they get to focus on. That means that their brain naturally gets programmed to keep on learning. See, ours got programmed to be in a repetition, to slow down learning. It was the reversal of learning. You understand? You guys, everybody looks at this stuff like realize there's people that just want to make clothes. Right? There's people that like to design shirts. There's people that like to design fucking pants. There's people that like to design fucking outfits. There's people that like to design rugs. There's people that like to design tapestries. There's people that like to design buildings. Where's the collapse? Where's the collapse? There's plenty of people that'll be going to do what they want to do because they wanted to do it in the first place. And that will take the fun and put fun back into work. Trust me, it feels good when you work because you want to. That's all I've ever done. See, most people didn't take their opportunities the way that I did. I've done nothing but construction due to the fact that I like to fucking build stuff. And I like to work out. And I like to be in the sun. And I got all of that and got paid for it. So I didn't work the way most people worked. Because I've never lived a life that required a bunch of money. I always managed to find a place for like $300 or $400 max a month. You know, I don't care about living in somebody's fucking basement or fucking renting a room from somebody and shit. I'm not one of those people that gives a fuck about that shit. I like easy life. I just like good work. When I want to do work, I like good work. Yeah, Jess, I pretty much do every aspect of. I like to do art and shit like that. So now I know how to build giant statues and things like that because I know how to work concrete. I know how to build. I know how to use rebar. I know how to structure things. I know how to, like. Do you understand? Like I can do anything that I want now at this point because I've spent my whole life doing all the different fields of things that I was interested in. Everybody doesn't have that luxury, you know. Construction's easy to get into. Anybody can walk into construction and get into construction. Somebody will take you. Some private company will fucking hire you off the streets with no experience and just start working with you. So. You know, I know what I did wasn't as easy as everybody else because everybody else has like, you know, other dreams of like, you know, being scientists and fucking doctors and all this other crazy shit. And that shit requires certain shit. The shit that I wanted to do didn't require nothing but my fucking want. Hey, what's going on, Bad? It's 18 USC. Not 8, it's 18. I know I said that part wrong in the video, but I didn't catch it until later on in the video. It was already out. 18 USC 8. It's not 8 USC. But yeah, so, you know, I find it strange. Like everybody has this crazy idea. Like I think they've done a pretty good job of making everybody think that the whole fucking country would collapse on itself if they disappeared, but it's not the case. We're the only ones running shit. They're not doing anything. They're literally not doing anything except for making phone calls and pushing papers. That's none of what we're doing. Everybody else is keeping the company running. It's us. They don't do nothing. We don't need them at all. They're the ones that are making it so that you can't grow your own food. They're the ones that are telling you you can't go and hunt. They're the ones that are telling you you can't go and fish. They're the ones that are telling you that you can't have rainwater. They're the ones that are telling you that you can't have free energy. They're the ones that are telling you that you can't have a vehicle that has free energy in it. They're the ones that are telling you that you have to work in order to have stuff. They're that you're working for paper, but the paper that you have isn't worth the same amount as the paper that they have, because their ink, even though their ink is the same ink that you have, is printed in their way, not your way. But if you print your ink their way and make a copy of their paper, you're going to get in trouble for making a copy of their imaginary paper that everybody works for. I mean, I've seen people get into fights over monopoly money before. But the funny thing about monopoly is it's reality. I don't think anybody caught on to that part. Monopoly is reality. We're literally out here working for the same paper. You're working for the same paper with the same ink as that monopoly money that's on that board. And that monopoly money has the same worth as the monopoly money that's in your wallet. The only difference is you agree that the one in your wallet has the worth that it has, and you don't agree that the one that's in the monopoly board has the worth that it has. But if we unanimously agreed that monopoly money was our new currency, that would in fact be the worth. But you find it outrageous to think that you would go to work for monopoly money, but yet that's what you're doing every day. Right? Think about that. Think about that one for a minute. I want you to think about this for a minute. Because if I put your monopoly money from your Milton Bradley company next to the monopoly money from the Federal Reserve, and we set them both on fire, the only difference is one would probably have a different tint to it because there's more ink. I want you to think about this for a minute. You wouldn't in your life get up and go to work for what's sitting inside of that board game, but yet you get up every day and go to work for what's sitting inside of that board game. You can get a house, you can get a car, you can get a dog, you can get a shirt, you can get shoes. You can even buy buildings if you want to. All right? That's what I need. I need to make a background with the Monopoly guy. That'll be the one. No, Monopoly money doesn't buy gas and food, Winnie. Monopoly doesn't buy it. You can't buy anything. That's an idea. That is a fictitious reality. That's an agreement. That's just a mental agreement. It's not a real thing. You don't hear my grinder. What the fuck? I think he did have a monocle. Oh, what up, Tim? That was not my grinder. But I want you to think about this. And I want you to really think about this for a second. You think that they have control. You think that they're controlling now. They're about to take all of the paper away. Okay, they're about to take all of the paper away, and people are excited about it. They think that that's going to be better. What? Now, so they've decided that since you agreed to use imaginary money as your thing to slave your life away for, that now they're going to have completely imaginary money to slave your life away for, that they fully control. So they could at any point in time just be like, you know what, let's just put everybody on a budget. You can have this much money to spend for the day, but only if you go to work. I want you to think of the real implications of what is trying to be done. While everybody thinks that this guy that signed this bill that is on your side and he's this and that. No, he's about to feed you to the lunchbox. You're about to be like on the assembly line for real. Imagine everybody still agreeing to be a part of this system, and then the system turns around and enforces fucking, like, just that's across the board. That's it. You're done. They've already gone for the food. You know what I'm saying? They've already gone for the food. Now on top of the food, hey, my bad. I am 7. By the time I started deleting files. I started moving files, and then I accidentally moved like my whole library over to my tablet, and I had to go and like remove like a bunch of dirty pictures and stuff from my ex and stuff, because it was all mixed in there with the pictures and shit. And fucking, I was like, oh shit, like so I got all lost and forgot. But my bad, I completely forgot to come back in there. Because then when I did remember, it was like already like an hour later, and you weren't live no more. All right, bet. But look, right? So I want you to think about this, right? Like, you're already working for monopoly money, and now after they've already cut the food out, right? They had Biden come in and do everything that they couldn't have Trump do, because if they had Trump do it, then you wouldn't want Trump in office. But it had to be done in order to put the system in place, so they had to have somebody else do it. That's the only reason why he got removed for a little bit. And then just to make it, look, this is the funny thing, is like nobody sees the okie doke, right? So because they wanted you to want him to come back, he had to go to jail, right? He had to go to trial so that you would feel like he was on your level, right? Just the same way as now that Biden's out of the way, they got Kamala out in restaurants eating fucking food with hot sauce on it and shit like that, knowing that she grew up with a silver spoon and would never touch that shit in her fucking life. Just the same way. Just the same way as they couldn't take Trump to court. It wasn't real. It's kangaroo court. I already told everybody that he wasn't going to go. He wasn't going to, they weren't going to lock him up. It was just specifically so that people would be like, oh, he's one of us. He's definitely one of us now. Now he's one of us. Meanwhile, he just puts you in the meanest slave ship that you've ever been in your entire life, because now everything's about to go digital, which means that it's really imaginary, which means that all it takes is the flip of a switch to tell you you're going to starve yourself out now. You don't want to do what we say? Well, guess what? I got a button for you. Everybody's like, yeah, he did it. He did it. No, motherfuckers, we don't need no money. We don't need money. You need to just let people do what they want to do, and you watch how this country fucking grows. All of a sudden, there'll be fruit and fucking vegetables growing on the side of the streets everywhere and shit like that. There'll just be fucking an abundance of food everywhere all over the place, because there's nobody to tell you that you can't grow food no more. So we'll just replace all the regular shit growing. All these dead fucking useless plants that they got growing everywhere, just replace those with actual trees and fruit and things like that, you know? Kind of like that story of Johnny Appleseed, you know? You know what the story of Johnny Appleseed was? It wasn't him planting apple seeds. He was going around planting the ideas of the change. The growth. The fruit of your labors. You understand? How do you? There's two ways that we end that corporation immediately, rapidly. The immediate answer is everybody gets a gun. Everybody has one, and that just answers all the problems right there. That's the immediate answer is arm everybody to the teeth, and then they can't control nothing, because then every time they send their little people out, we go out. It's that simple. And then they get the point, and then they stop it, and then they stop trying to do their crazy shit, and then they actually do what we want them to do. Or plan B, we all grow food. Everybody just goes out and plants seeds, like the trend that I tried to start it, but it's not getting shared like I thought it was. I thought everybody would be on board with ending fucking hunger across the country, all across the board. It's not that difficult. All it takes is everybody going out and planting some seeds randomly throughout your neighborhoods and shit. Just sprinkle some seeds. Maybe put a stick in the ground so people know not to mow near that shit. Hey, you see this little sidewalk? You see how they've got that grass in between the sidewalk and the curb? Well, we're gonna put fruit in there. And then you just go and tell everybody, hey, we're putting fruit in there, and then everybody puts fruit in there so nobody mows the shit. It's not that difficult, yo. It's really not that difficult. And if we can end the fucking hunger, guess what? That ends 90% of the control right there. Because if everybody has food to eat, guess what? You don't feel like you have to go to work to go and get your food. Right? If you got food, you don't really need money because you already got a roof over your head. So if everybody's armed to the teeth and everybody has food, and then they try to tell people they got to leave their houses, if everybody comes out and meets them when they try to tell people to leave their houses, guess what? They're going to back off. Oh, I know, human. I know. It's crazy that you would think that people would feel uncomfortable about the fact, bro, you got out of your fucking parents' house because you were an adult and you didn't want nobody telling you what to do, but you're gonna listen to these old ass fucking people that are crooked and demented. You left your parents' house to be your own person, but you're gonna listen to somebody else's fucking parents? Let that set in. Let that sit in for a second there. Just let that sit in for a real minute there. You left your parents' house in order for you to be your own person so that you can go and answer to somebody else. Make it make sense. Make that make sense somehow. Can anybody? Anybody at all? Let me give this out for the third time. Just as one last time. I just really want you to marinate. I just really want you to marinate on this one thought for a moment. Because around the age of 12 or 13, you were already sick and tired of your parents telling you what to do. I don't care what kind of parents you had. You still didn't want to listen to them around 13, right? That's when you started coming into your own. That's when you started fucking thinking for yourself, right? Thoughts became full thoughts and you could comprehend and oh man, you were good to go. And so you were ready for the world, and you were ready for the world back then. And then you had to wait like 5 more years. You had to go through their programming to make sure that you weren't going to be too smart, right? And then when you were done with their programming, you were like, fuck this, I'm out, right? You were like, I'm not staying in this house because I don't want to hear what you got to say. You can't tell me shit. I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm my own person. I got my own life ahead of me. I got my own fucking path to build. I'm good. I'm out. All right. And then what happened? You went to listen to some other people? You left your fucking family, the people that love you the most and everything. You were like, you know what? I can't deal with y'all. I got to go and build my own shit. And then you went and listened to somebody else's family. Let me get this straight. You're just going to take orders from a bunch of complete strangers. They clearly don't have your well-being in mind. Like at all. Like on any level, they're too busy chasing this imaginary thing that they created called money. They're battling to have. Bro, you think they use money? They just say that's mine and that's the end of it. You think they use money? You really think they use money? They don't. They just tell people, go and get that. I want that. And then somebody else might use money, but they don't use money. They just tell people shit. Yeah, they just claim it and tell people shit. But yeah, you got to use money. They tell people, they claim it as theirs, and then they tell you that there's money. Right? Think about this for a minute. And you allow this to be what governs you? Like you're letting somebody's weird ass uncle, because that's all that's been in the office is everybody's weird uncle. That's the guy that's in there. The ones that can't keep them hands to themselves. Those are the ones that have been in the office. Every single last one of them. Every single last one of them. If you don't believe me, go look what Trump's first wife divorced him for. Go read the transcripts on that court case. Holy shit. And the funny thing is he's got a long list of people that say that he did that, and then everybody's like, no, he didn't do that. But yeah, he was in a bus recorded saying, when you're famous, you ain't got to worry about it. You just reach out and grab him, right? So he admits it publicly. The guy that's running the Miss America pageants for the young girls, all right? You forgot all that shit, right? Of course, he didn't want Epstein in there. He didn't want Epstein in his hotel. Of course he didn't. Those were his. He picked them. Of course he didn't want them around there. Those were his. They were at his place. That was his castle. He was the king there. Oh, yeah, we got resources here, Derek. We got resources here, bro. We got every resource here. We don't need to outsource anything to any country. In all reality, we don't. But since the other countries want to work off of money systems, if we didn't have a fucking government right now, or if we didn't have one that was out of control, we should be able to tell our government, hey, look, you need to take all the resources from all these fake ass rich people, and you need to take all those resources from them, and they can't have those anymore, and that belongs to everybody in the country, and we all want benefits off of all of it. Just like that. That's how it would be if we had control of our government. Y'all should make me president, y'all. Y'all should make me president. You know why? Because I can't be bought. I can't be bought. I'll live on the streets before I answer to somebody over money. Fuck, I'll run. I'll put my life on the line. You know they'll try to unalive me. They already do all the time anyway. What difference would I make? Just write Jason Johnson on the podium. And then when they're like, who is that? Just be like, just put like the Book of Johnson right next to it. Just go in there and vote for the Book of Johnson. Just be like, Book of Johnson. They'll be like, who the fuck is this Book of Johnson? And then all of a sudden, all these little commercials, right? All these little videos that I've made over the last 4 years will start popping up, and you'll be like, wait, that's the guy that tried to teach us about our mortgage? That's the guy that tried to teach us about our money? That's the guy that tried to teach us about our status? That's the guy that tried to teach us about the religion? That's the guy that tried to teach us about the courts? That's the guy that tried to teach us how to make free energy? That's the guy that tried to teach us how to help our kids? Like, what? That guy? That same guy? You know how many people know my face in this fucking country, yeah? Or my voice, just because it's TikTok? like, Dad, like, My fucking hashtag by itself had close to like 40 or 50 million views on it back when I was at like 20,000 on this account, because this is like my 8th or ninth account, right? So there's like that was back when this was at like 20. So from that point forward, I've now added on about 80,000 more people to it. So I'd imagine that number is almost like close to double on my views, but that's not including how many people take my videos and fucking share them and shit. You get what I'm saying? I'm a little bit more known than people realize in this country. You have no idea how much work I've been putting in. Like, look, right? So right, like, all right, remember how I told everybody that, you know, when they gave me the donations to get the package, with all the information on the status correction and stuff. Remember how I told them, when you give me that $50 donation, like, you know, I take, you know, parts of that money go back into me buying more information. Well, I just found a guy, right? I just found a guy that that I'm going to pay for his seminar out of the money that I got from the donations. It's not even a seminar. He sends you a fucking zip card, a zip file in the mail, right? So once I get that zip file, guess what all the information on the zip file is going? Right into the same file that everybody paid $50 for. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm definitely like y'all think that I'm not playing, like I'm trying to get, I'm getting all the information and putting it right back in there so that it just keeps on growing more and more, so that everybody can have all the information that they need. And I fucking, like, dog, like, I'm doing my best, Joe. I'm doing my best to try to end this fucking system one way or the other. Whether it be on paperwork, which is the civil war that they're talking about. Bro, we've been at civil war for like fucking like 3-4 years now. But it's getting heavy right now, because now we got all kinds of people going to press judges for treason and shit like that. So because that pressure's being put on motherfucking... Hey, you know what? Hey, I know how we can make them start acting in our behalf. I got a court case right now that the military needs to go and pick a judge up on. I've already proved that he was in violation of due process. We like a million times over, and he refused to step down from the bench. So that's an act of treason according to their rules and guidelines, right? And so because I challenged his jurisdiction, he issued out a warrant for me instead of He proceeded and issued out a warrant, and they said that I didn't appear when there was no court date at the time, because they didn't even have a public defender available in case somebody needed a public defender. So they had canceled the court date, but then because I challenged their jurisdiction, they gave me a failure to appear and issued a warrant out instead, because they're guilty of treason right now, and I've already proven it, right? So if I put that information on TikTok, right, and then everybody fucking flips out about the fact that that judge isn't fucking being, like, he hasn't seen the papers or nothing, like he hasn't been putting on newspapers, he hasn't been on the news, he hasn't fucking, like, nothing's being done about it and shit. Like, everybody's got all this shit going on about, oh, you care about them using the U.S. Marshals to go and surround the White House and deal with those people. No, fuck those people. Those aren't the people that are really doing shit to us. They're sitting up there at the very tip top doing paperwork and running their mouth. Everything's really happening between these judges and these police. That's who we need the action against. That's who we need to put the pressure on them to take care of. Once we put the pressure on them to take care of them, that stops the bullshit at that level. That's our surface level. Once we kill that surface level problem, then we can move it up the food chain. Because then once we've got them working on our behalf, then we start putting them to put the pressure on the people that are higher up now. Because once you gotta start from the bottom and work your way up. You get me? You gotta go from the bottom of the totem pole up. So we already flexed on them once, right? We already had one flex on them that worked. which is why I don't see why this is so difficult to get people to push it even further, because they were already trying to keep me in their little fucking jail down there, and they were trying to bury me under that motherfucker, and weren't trying to fucking bomb me out, and they weren't trying to let me go and shit like that. And it's like they were lying to all the bondsmen because of these things that I talked to you about. Like the feds were telling them to keep me in there, and motherfucking they were trying to keep me in there at any cost. But because I went to my boy Earthspeak, because me and him had basically the same following at the time. So we had all the same people. So motherfucking, when I hit him up, I was like, look, like you gotta put the word out that I'm fucking in here and that they're trying to fucking unalive me and shit, and get the pressure on these motherfuckers so I can get out of here. And sure enough, fucking put the word out, and it was like crazy. It was like their phones were blowing up off the hook. The fucking governor's phone was blowing up. The secretary of treasurer, the fucking like every fucking government office in that whole fucking area got lit up for like days, like every single day until I got out of there. Like that was some crazy shit, yo. Like everybody in the fucking jail basically threw a party when they got me out, because they thought that they were gonna try to keep me in there too. Right, so they were thrilled that I got out. So if we can just fucking push that public, right? Because I've already done the paperwork. We've already done the tort claims. We've already reported them to the Bar Association. Nothing was done. We've already reported them to the governor. The governor didn't do shit. Reported it to the Superior Court down there. They didn't do shit. So the only reason that they're not doing shit is because there's no public attention to it. You get me? The only reason that nothing's being done about it is because there's no pressure from the public. If we just put the pressure of the public on that one matter, if we can get it all focused on that one matter and have them go in and take that judge down like they're supposed to, take down that whole fucking courthouse, and lock the motherfuckers up like they're supposed to. If we can get that done, right? If we can get them to follow suit on their orders and their rules, right? And we call them out on it publicly, like, look, this is what this motherfucker did. You're supposed to be going in to get this guy before he goes and gets our guy. All right? Are you going to do your job? Like, or do we need to fucking replace you too? Because any of them that refuse to do it are also guilty of treason. So that means that we can prove the corruption all the way up the line immediately. You get what I'm saying? So we can use that to fucking put the pressure on them. Well, not Heidi, because this is the thing, Heidi. Although the military do follow the orders like they're supposed to and shit like that, you got to realize that they're also signing up for a certain oath and a certain thing, and they're doing it out of pride. That's why most people go into the military, because they want to do what's right, and they want to defend, and they want to, like, you know, that's the main part of it for most people that go into it, right? So once they see that the thing that they're signed up for and sworn to protect isn't being followed by the people that are around them and that are above them, they're not going to fucking operate with them. They're going to fucking hold them accountable like they're supposed to. You see, that's the problem with the brainwashing that they put them under, is that even though they also brainwash them to be robots, they also brainwash them to be robots to the Constitution and the country first. And so when they see that their officers that are around them aren't fucking doing it, like, and they start to question the shit, then that's when, you get what I'm saying? Like, you got to start the fucking, what are you talking about? Joe Rogan lookalike saw you last week. Oh, okay. Nice. There you go. I don't look like that guy. His face is all mangled up. Anyway, like I was saying, like, all we got to do, like, if we could put pressure, I don't care. It doesn't have to be my court case. It doesn't have to be my court case. Mine's going to get handled one way or the other, right? Either that or they're going to fucking snatch me up and disappear me. That's the other option on it, right? It's one of the two. So, you know, it's a gamble of a game right now. My life is literally hanging in the fucking breeze, but I'm good. They ain't going to find me right now. But the thing is that we really need to do something. Some type of show of togetherness has to happen. Some type of showing that we understand these rights and something must be done about this has to happen. There has to be some type of agreement in order to get a public catalyst started. That's all we need. We need a public catalyst. I don't mind being it because I'm already on the chopping block either way. Because I've been fighting against this whole thing the whole time. You understand? They've already tried to unalive me like 3 different times. They're getting really frustrated at how resilient I am. I'm like a fucking cockroach out this motherfucker. They just can't seem to get rid of me. And I keep escaping every time the lights go out. Every time it gets dark, I'm out. I gotta go. Peace. You get me? Because I don't give a shit, yo. Because, you know, I'm not worried about dying or nothing like that. Because I know that as long as I set and play the things that I want to be happening, it'll be there for me when I come back. I'm gonna get to experience whatever I create. So I know what I'm doing. I'm not worried about none of it. I know a lot of people don't have that fucking conviction in them, and I understand that. So a lot of people stay silent about stuff. A lot of people don't push issues. A lot of people avoid the hard conversations and shit like that. I get that. You get me? But that's why I get so many people to fucking listen to me in the first place, because I don't mind it. I've been fighting these motherfuckers from the beginning. They used to get so mad at me in school because I knew every loophole that there was because I was not trying to abide by shit. You get me? So I don't play them games, man. And we could use my court case. My court case, we've already done the paperwork in my court case to prove that the judge is in violation of due process, to prove that the judge is committing treason, to prove that the judge is warring against the Constitution, to prove that he's stealing from everybody, to prove that he's part of a human trafficking ring, to prove that, you understand, we've already done all of the work. We've already done all the paperwork the way that the paperwork was supposed to be handled. I've already sent it out to all the different government offices. I've already sent it out to the governor. I've already sent it out to the Secretary of State. I already sent it to the FBI. I already sent it to the CIA. Not the CIA, but the fucking, what do you call it? The military one. The CIC, I think it was. You get me? Like, I've already got all the paperwork in play. The only thing that's stopping it from actually going through right now is pressure. Yeah, the power to arrest. That would be fucking... Yeah, that would be... That would definitely be the thing that needs to be done. The military thanked me for reporting it. They just haven't done shit yet. I don't think it's fair that all of our fucking... Everybody that's supposed to be doing stuff is only waiting on these politicians to get out when really it's the judges and the fucking police that need it the worst. You understand? We've already proven failure of due process, which is a violation of our rights. And just off of that alone, it is the marshal's jobs, right? But how would we get the marshal to go after them is the question. Oh, I'm already... we've already done most of the work. We just need some backing now. Right, I'm with you. I'm trying to take down the whole thing. Get it all scrapped. Oh, you said I'd need to be a U.S. Marshal? I don't think I'd qualify for that. But who would it be to go after the judge? Would it be a marshal or a sheriff? Why try wasting my breath? I'll get, you know what, I can get rid of you. I don't need weak-minded people around me. I don't need people around me that are scared to get things done. I don't need people around me that are condescending. I don't need people around me that only have negativity. Oh, why would you? Because, motherfucker, that's my life. That's why. Because it's your life. Why wouldn't you want what you're supposed to have in your life? The fuck you? Well, you want to be a part of this shit? You like the way things are being done? The fuck? I thought the sheriff does. I wonder. I should just run for office for out here. Hey, look, I wonder if I ran for sheriff out here, right, and I put it in the newspaper and everybody had to vote, if I can get a bunch of people from all these other places to come and vote on my behalf, would that work? Or does it have to be... I got to check those guidelines again. Because I'm pretty sure... I don't see anywhere in the guidelines where it says that the people from the area have to vote you in. It just says that the people have to vote you in. I really got to double check that. Oh, I know people would vote for me. Why do I have to get them? There you go, buddy. Since you want to keep being negative, now you're blocked. I told you. So yeah, shit's in the works, people. It's already in the works. It's just getting it put through that's the slow part. Hey, what up, Heather? I don't have to get nobody's approval. I'll figure it out. I will figure it out. What up, Cash Up? So yeah, I'm gonna go figure that out. I'll get back with you guys in a little bit. I'm gonna go try to iron out some type of a strategy plan, because I definitely need to get things moving on this subject. So I'll catch y'all in a little bit.